Okay, so this video is on finding relative max or min algebraically, and we're going to be doing some similar stuff to what we did when we found this using a derivative graph. We want to identify where the first derivative switches from positive to negative or negative to positive. When f prime switches from positive to negative, you have a relative max for f. When the derivative switches from negative to positive, you have a relative min on f. So the first thing we're going to have to do is find the critical values. The way that we do this algebraically is we figure out where the first derivative is equal to 0 or where the first derivative is undefined. So I'm going to go ahead and take the first derivative. In this scenario, this first derivative will never be undefined, but it will be equal to 0. So I'll set it equal to 0. I subtract 6, and I get negative 6 equals 2x. X equals negative 3. So this derivative is 0 at x equals negative 3. I'm going to go ahead and make a number line. And on the number line, I'm going to put any critical values that I'm looking at. I'm going to circle them just so they're easy to tell, and then I'm going to pick a number on either side of negative 3. So I'm going to pick negative 4 over here, and I'm going to pick 0 here. When you plug negative 4 into your derivative, we're plugging it into the derivative, we're testing the sign. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, plus 6, this overall becomes a negative number. And 0, when you plug it in, 2 times 0 is 0, plus 6 is a positive number. So what this means is that our f graph goes from decreasing because f prime is negative to increasing because f prime is positive. So x equals negative 3 has a relative min for f. Okay, so this is our second example. In this example, we are going to, again, take the derivative. So f prime of x equals 2/3 x to the negative 1/3, I'm subtracting 1 there, minus 0. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as 2 over 3 cube root of x. And the two things we need to know is where is this derivative equal to 0? And that deals with the numerator, and the numerator will never equal 0. So we don't even need to worry about f prime is never going to be 0. But f prime of x will be undefined, is undefined when the denominator equals 0. So we're going to set the denominator equal to 0. So I have 0 equals 3 times the cube root of x, and this happens when x equals 0. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to set up my number line for f prime of x. So I have, here's my number line. We're going to label it as f prime. On my number line, I'm just placing 0. And then I'm going to pick a number on either side. Let me circle 0. I'm going to pick negative 1 and positive 1. And when we plug negative 1 in, the cube root of a negative is negative. So overall, this will be a negative number. And then if I plug positive 1 into the derivative, we end up with a positive number. This means that the graph of f goes from decreasing to increasing at 0. So f has a relative min at x equals 0. And that is it for this video.